Yeah, go ahead and start. No,
Yeah.
They'll come dragging you for the next 5 minutes.
Should we wait 5? We can,
If you want to wait.
if you feel like it. Okay. But, okay. So you guys heard about it where? In WhatsApp? Or the email? WhatsApp, email, okay. Robert came, but he left. I saw Robert. Hmm? Hmm. What is it?
VA from the Philippines.
Josh? Hello, Josh. Good morning to you. Hello, Josh. Good morning to you. Can you hear us? Josh, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear us?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Josh, Sepi here. Can you hear us? Good morning.
Yeah, good
Hey,
morning.
Josh, can you hear us?
Mm-hmm.
Josh, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
You can hear us. Perfect. Awesome. Hello, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
You have the expert online. Hello, how are you? Good morning. Hello, hello, how are you? Huh? This is good. Hello, sir.
It's not free, it's just a payment.
How are you? Is it good? Thank you.
Hey guys, want to make a quick announcement? I'm going to put it out on the what's up? Tim Larson is now a director. You guys,
He's what?
he's a director now. So we have directors. He's going to probably hit 20 million this year.
Very nice.
He's also going to be teaching lead generation and a few other things. But so he'll be listed as a director.
And mentor, huh?
And
Can we put his picture up there?
it's coming.
Excellent.
Announcement.
Perfect. Awesome.
But I'm excited about Sepi teaching. Be a good one. I mean, take it down. She's been our top person
Thank you.
since
Under your management and leadership. Thank you.
No, no, you just have to follow her. I like no. So I say this every time I'm next to her, my wallet gets lighter. She's like, "What am I going to have to buy now?"
Investment gets stronger.
Yeah,
Passive income.
passive income. But I
Okay.
think it's awesome that you're doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I think we start, huh?
Get going.
Yeah, you sure? All right. I'm Sepi. And big shout out to Steve. He spent a lot of time organizing this, bringing people, scheduling it. So thank you to Steve to organize this. His time is valuable and we really appreciate it. Thank you, Steve. So I have a question to ask. The question is, when was the last time you reached out to a lead and it failed? And why? Let's start with you. Hi, Flip. She just found somebody else?
Yeah, she decided to work with somebody else.
Okay. So how about you?
We haven't failed.
What failed?
We haven't failed yet, but we haven't succeeded yet. So I've got a client. He's just not ready to commit yet because he's kind of passively working through another guy. But it's a deal Philippe and I are working on.
Okay.
And we're just, haven't come up yet with something that he can really bite into and say, all right, I'm going with you
That's
guys
the
for
key.
sure. Yeah.
That's actually the key. And I'm going to touch on that. right? That's the key. Go ahead.
I don't have one.
You haven't talked to anyone?
Not where I've failed yet.
Okay, hold on. So
But
you
I do
you get
a lot-
all the listing.
I do a
But-
lot of calling, but leave a lot of voicemails, so I get very little response back
Okay,
from that aspect.
great. Hold on. Let's touch on a couple things. Something really important happened here. So let's talk about that. First, if you heard what he said, I haven't had a very valuable things to say that they bite on. So what we learn about this, and I have personal experience about that, when I open talking to someone, they have to feel like I know more than them. And if they don't use me, they lose. Simple as that, right? So doesn't matter who, generally speaking, when I talk to them, they listen very carefully. So you have to be expert in what you want to talk about, that when you talk to them, they want to work with you. So the other question, hello, good morning. So the other question to follow up on that, she said they went with someone else. If you have got them enough to see that you're better than them and better than other people that they talk, do you think they would hesitate to go with you? So that value of the conversation comes with the fact that before you have that phone calls made, you prepare yourself with something extremely valuable, that the offer is so valuable that they don't hesitate to use you. Most of the time, when I have someone to talk, let's say for the sake of an argument, let's say Gina calls me and says, I have a lead, I want to pass it on to you. And I normally ask, let's hop on a call with your client. My concern is not to talk because they are quickly going to understand that I know well, and they want to go around her and hit me. So I have to be very careful not to do that. On the other hand, you want to be that person. So I'm going to give you an example. Today, this morning, how many people did you call? Haven't called anyone. Philip, how about you? 4 people. Where those 4 came from? Yes.
Clients. 2 were people that reached out to me.
Excellent. Excellent. So who doesn't have a profile in Craigslist? Everybody has a profile on Craigslist, right? Good. Excellent. So when people search you, they'll be able to find you. You know, the basic Craigslist account is free, so you can have that profile. Okay. So where I was going with that is, I have a listing. I want to sell that listing. How do I do it, right? This is something I always start from basic, right? I take my phone. Who do I know? I start from A, right? And I have about probably 5-digit number of people. And I think about it. This person, what does he like to hear? Does he like to hear add value, or does he like to hear that he doesn't have to touch anything? Meaning that I have to push on the fact that this asset will bring this much extra this way and that way. Or this guy want to hear that there's nothing he has to do and it brings value. So I practiced with me, what am I going to sell to him? And what is he interested? And based on that, I lead the conversation strong enough. Now, let me ask you something else. I'm keep asking questions because I want you to feel that, right? Gina, when you talk to someone, do you think you're better than them or you are hesitating? Which is good, which is very good. However, have you ever felt like you get up in the morning, you feel pretty, and when you walk around, everybody sees you pretty? Good hair there, bad hair there, right? If you don't think that you're better than them, you're not going to get that landed, period. So if you're hesitating when you're having that conversation, you're not going to get that listing. I promise you. So not only you have to prepare yourself about that specific asset, to know everything about it when you're going after it, not only you have to know that person, what would attract them, and practice it, you also have to believe yourself that you're better before you make that phone call, right? How many of you have reached to one other person that, can I promote your listing? Who has done that? Promote your listing. Like, you don't have a listing. Do you have a listing? Who doesn't have a listing? Everybody has listing here, right? Okay. So has it ever been a time that you don't have a listing? Okay. Have you ever come, Sepi has listing. Let me see if I can sell her listing, for example, right? It's just like a house. Don't you go do an open house for someone else's so that you get leads, right? But have you ever said, let me call Sepi. She really wants to sell the warehouse. Let me see if I can put it in my social media. Have you ever done that? Why don't you do that, right? Hi, Isa. Why don't you do that? So let's start again. I ask a couple questions here. I ask, when was the last time you tried to get a lead and you failed and what it was, right? So we learned a couple things, that we weren't prepared to do that. We didn't think we're good enough, maybe, right? And we didn't get ourselves expert on the land. So now, Philip, you have a listing that you want to sell. What is that? Can you tell us about it, please? Could you do me a favor? Can you market your listing right now for us?
Sure.
Please.
It is right off Spring Cypress Road, about a mile from I-45 North. Perfect location for servicing Woodlands as well as in the Spring area, 0.86 acres. Has all public access for utilities. Be an excellent location for a medical building. Easy 3,000 square feet. You could do that, would be very sufficient with a lot of servicing in the area. If it was something smaller, perhaps if you're concerned about water expense, it would definitely, you'd be able to just put well and septic, which would only cost you about $20,000 to have access if you wanted to just do something like a small trailer or something like that, whatever your business might be. Just all depends on what you want to do with the property. By all means, give me a call. My name is Philippe Baladeras. So we're with KW Commercial, 832-977-5565.
Awesome. So there are good and bad in this market. I'm going to tell you. Let's say, for the sake of an argument, I want to get his listing and use his listing to get leads out of it. I learned the area. I learned how to fix the water capacity, right? Now I ask Philip, for the sake of an argument, let's say you tell me yes. Let's say I ask him and he says yes. So, Philip, can I use your listing, promote it in my social media, get leads, and if I have a buyer, bring it to you? Can I do that? Okay, so let's say he says yes, right? So now I am gonna go drive the property, right? That is how I do it. I go drive the property. I go look that area, right? And then I see, hello. And then I see in my list of people who would be interested to do what he suggested that is good for, right? So I'm gonna start looking. This guy wanted to do a medical building. Let me just give him a call. Do you have that set in your phone? Who is interested to do what? It's your contacts organized in different category. This guy wants warehouse. This guy wants to build a medical building. This guy wants to list. How many of you have at least 12 category of people in your phone? He does. And you see how many leads he has? He does, right? So the moment I hear about him, and let's say I have nothing else to do, I want to create that, he permit me, I will put it on my social media. I'll put my phone number. If you want to build a medical building, I know a good deal. Call me. Do you give all the information? No, then it's not going to open the conversation for you, right? The keyword, good deal, everybody's after that. I target people because he said it's good for medical building, that one. How many people you think will reach me? I can tell you that day I'll get at least 20 calls. I can promise you that, right? So when I get the call, before that, I have studied the property. I have seen what that property is good for, and I can answer all of their questions, right? Now, this person eventually will buy this property because I got myself ready. You think he will go to someone else after that? I find him a deal that he can buy to do exactly what he wanted to do, and I got him a good deal. I've got a lead, and this guy's going to sell me to his friends. I promise you, that has been my case. That has been always my case. It's not the good case for me, but I haven't been to a single listing appointment. I actually reject listings because I don't have time to do it, right? I answer my calls all the time. So I want to ask you, if you have a missed call right now, how long does it take for you to answer that missed call? For me, the moment I step out of this meeting, I'm going to return everyone. And I apologize to them that I couldn't attend immediately. And then I listen to what they say. Now, if you don't have an answer to a question, what do? It's not fine. It's not fine. You're supposed to know better.
You don't have an answer to a question, you tell them to find out, get back.
Perfect, right? You come up with a very professional reasons, right? Let me get more details and get back with you precisely about this, right? That will show that you're expert because, and sometimes they tell me, just ask the agent, right? What do you answer to that? So you look better than the other agent. What do you say to that? There's more to it. I need to do a detailed research to make sure this aligns with your needs. There's more detail. Let me get all the details and get back with you. I never say that, okay, I'm going to ask the agent. He can do it himself. What does he need me for, right? He can do it. So again, back to the first subject of what we are saying. So you have to make sure you know the asset very well. You have to make sure that you prepare the scenario before you call them, right? And you have to make sure you yourself believe that you know better than them. If you don't, you will lose that deal, right? So we asked the question in the beginning, when was the last time you lost a listing and why was that, right? Let's ask an expert. I think he's one of the best. So when was the last time you lost a listing and when was that? Did you ever?
Once, that was overpriced and the price he wouldn't want me to go after that. Once.
You didn't lose the listing. You actually walked away from the listing. That was the thing. So it's not the case for you. Exactly. So you choose not to get that listing. Okay. So that's another thing. That's actually a strategy, right? That you choose not to make your name look bad because it's never going to sell. What's going to get you, right? However, I have a strategy for this. What is my strategy of this? If the price of the guy is very, very high, right, and you cannot sell. Have you been to an open house that the price is really high and you know you're going to just get the lead and you're going to take them somewhere else and sell it? You know that, right? What's the strategy in someone's really high, right? Get offer. Or just don't disclose the price, right? Let people look at it, right? You show them their offer. I'm doing a good job, right? I have, in the very beginning of my career, when I saw that he's off, I wanted to get leads. I wanted to have listing, right? So I didn't dismiss the listing. What I did, I told them, how about we don't put the price so that we hear what they say, and then you don't have to make a decision. Make a decision when you have a solid offer in front of you. How about that? Sure, let's do that. I bet you get higher prices than I'm sure. 2 thumbs up for me because I'm a partner with you. My commission linked to that price. Let's do that, right? So I get the listing. I'll list the listing. We don't do price. People call me, what is the pricing guideline? Pricing guideline. I said, seller is in that vicinity, but I will fight for every offer, right? You have heard me all the time. That's asking price. Don't worry about it. Get me the offer. And do you know how many of those offers I have closed? Almost 95% of them. Almost, right? Because people come to their senses, eventually. So even if the price is high, don't lose the listing. Get the listing, don't disclose it, fight it, get an offer. However, you have to be careful about how much you're spending on that. Now, if you don't have a listing, it is going to help you a whole lot because that will bring you to the next level. But if You are spending money, meaning like, for example, you're paying for LoopNet and this and that to promote it. You have to watch how much you spend because it could tear you down quickly, right? So let's ask, for example, Isa, where do you advertise your listing? Social media. Social media, it's very, very important. These days, a lot of people, even for their entertainment, they look at social media, right? He's having lunch and this person or whatever is late. In order to entertain you, pull your phone up, you look at something, and you, oh, this is a good line. Let me just give him a call quickly. That's how you get the leads. When they call you, how much is it? What's your answer? What do you say? How much is it?
Is the price high?
No, just let's say you have something on social media and I call you, how much is this land that he told me about? How much is it?
They asked me for 2 million.
No, no. You kill the deal right there. You have to answer open-ended communication. Everything's negotiable, sir. Seller has some price in his mind. How about you tell me what you want to use it for? Let them talk to you, right? Let them, and when they talk to you, you realize how much the guy knows, what he wants, right? Maybe that at all is not a good thing, but guess what? Robert has something and you know about it. You get this information. Actually, it's in that vicinity, but my understanding is you want to build a restaurant. And in fact, we have another one that I can quickly put you in there. Is time is important for you or the price or the location, right? And then I realized Robert has a listing. All right, how about you send me your email and I'm gonna send you a deal, see if you like it. How about that? Sure.
Average time for me on my phone calls are 15 to 20 minutes. I get as much information as I can out of them. And what it does is, all these other JLL, all of the big CWs, all of them CB realtors, they don't talk to him. They just answer and go like this. The more time you spend with them and give them actual questions, I tell them, sell me what you're trying to do. Sell it. And then I'll do it. What they have to do. And then, look, we can help you. But here's what you have to do first. Then we walk backwards. Send me all your information, and I promise you we'll find you.
Again, back to basic. I'm keep repeating this because it has always been a best way to go about it. One, you get yourself better than everyone else's, even if it is that one single asset that you want to sell. Let's say you target. My plan is the next class, if I ever teach, will take all of you to one of my listing, right? In person, we'll do a field trip and look at that everything out there, teach you about that asset, and then you all gonna sell it for me. You see my point? You all gonna sell it for me. It's not gonna be sitting here imagining it, right? Field trip. Yes, that's the plan. We're gonna go there, and I said, and then trust me, yesterday on a sell deal, somebody told me, do you want to lease it? I said, I want to make money. You tell me what you want, I go sell it. You know what the guy said? You're my person, right? Guess what? They send me an offer and we're about to go on a contract on something that we had no idea we can actually. I don't say no to anyone. That's another thing, right? So get yourself expert about one single property, and you practice on that. And my plan is to get that with you on one single property that I do. That's the field trip, right? So imagine you want to sell that single, you will learn everything about that single property. And subconsciously, you're going to go and then you open your phone, people that you know, not people that you don't know, right? And you practice. This guy wants a warehouse, I heard. Let me tell him about it. And then you pick up a phone, tell him, I just came from this listing that has this and this and this and this. How much is it? The guy said, work with us on a price. Let me take a look at it. We make an offer. What do we have to lose? They didn't take it. They didn't take it. You see what I'm saying? Take him there. He will fall in love with the property. He will look at, once he put it on a paper, we can get both of them together to some places. The idea of fighting with the other agent is a wrong idea of thinking. Whenever I am with another agent, I said, great meeting you. Let's bring our client together. I don't consider myself, let me just get the knife and start fighting with the guy. Absolutely not. I said, consider me in your team that I'm planning to help to make this happen. So the other agent says, she's a bimbo. She doesn't understand what she's talking about. I'm going to get her. And I'm going to get the best deal out of her. Fine, let him feel that way, especially that I'm a woman and my English is second language. And I write lots of messy texts and stuff. Definitely she's an idiot. It works for me. It works for me. Guess what? I get them right on the table, right? Let them come on the table. I just want them to show, right? So get one single asset. This is an assignment I'm asking all of you do. You will see the result of it. So if we come to a class and listen to something and we just go home, we will forget about it. But if you do something with it, you know how you go to school, they get you homework? Not homework is actually what gets you remember the whole thing. So get an asset, and that's what I'm planning to do. I'm going to tell you which asset. That's going to be my asset, right? So it's going to be a warehouse in Gainesville, 14236 Gainesville, right? Get that asset, read everything I wrote on it, right? Memorize it. We're going to set up a field trip. We're going to go there. We're going to make you perfect in that. We will role play with each other about how you want to talk to your client, right? How you see, I asked him because I wanted to know the listing agent, what information he gives me. He knows the most, right? And then I develop it in my head, how I can make this sellable or attractive enough to the person that I'm calling. And I also, if I'm the buyer, what question I have, I fix all this, pull myself to the next level. I believe that I know best right now I probably know more than him because I've done the work. I've drove the property. I look at it. I'm planning to make money out of that listing, period, right? So then you start practicing with yourself. Have you ever practiced with yourself in the mirror? Have you called yourself ever? Record yourself. Please do that. Record yourself and then listen to yourself. Then you see what you're not doing right. Then you fix yourself. And then open your phone and start calling them. And then put it on your social media and write something extremely attractive. Great deal. Call me for details, right? Let me tell you what this can be, right? Your phone number, your name, a picture that is attractive, that you think is, not the one I think is attractive, the one you think is attractive. You have to believe in that, right? And then put it on your social media and email blast. Who does email blast? Who else? Good, good. And check this out. Those people who takes their hand off, look at their production level. Do you see what I mean? The production is, okay, so that's how you get leads out of someone else's listing. We have so many people here. If I even had one person, I would have done it with them. You have so many people, you can get yourself very, very busy, right? And people, let me give you this. I sold a property early in my career. I knew better than their agent. The buyer was a very hefty builder. To this day, he's using me, not them anymore. Do you know why? Because any question he had, I knew better than an agent. Don't be that agent. Don't be that agent. Don't be a transactional person. If you are putting a property on a contract, before you do anything about it, expert yourself to the next level. You know, when I go on a contract with a residential agent, two things happen. The contract goes my way, but the deal will never close. Do you know why? Because that agent doesn't know how to help their client overcome their objection, concern, and the questions. Don't be that agent. So when you put a property on a contract, make sure that contract and that client becomes a referral machine for you. Refer you. My client fight for me. They say, fire that person, go with our agent. Our agent is so much better. I don't go to listing appointment. My client send listing to me, and trust me, in so many cases, can you please wait? I don't have time right now. Or can I refer you? No, we'll wait for you. I'm one person. There's only so many, and I tell them, if I take your listing and I cannot attend to it, I haven't done you a very good service, and I would ruin my name with my reputation to you. So I cannot accept it, because those I accepted, I'm committed to deliver them, right? But I tell you, the moment I sell something, I call them and says, I'm ready. So he knows that I go back to them. Okay, so we talked about how you would lose a listing and how not to lose a listing, right? So I want to ask Robert, what works for you and what doesn't work for you to get leads?
For me, it kind of works like you. I've been at it so long that everyone just calls me. I don't have to chase leads. People call me and say, I look at this, like what you were saying, I look at this as, I'm a broker for life. Whenever I grab somebody, I find them and nurture them, and we do a great deal. I become friends with them. They call me, we go do stuff together, but that's my system. I'm a broker for life. I want them to, even if they call me for stuff off the books,
That's it.
anything they want that's just for free. Yes, they call me, but anytime they're ready to spend money, they call me.
It's use. So he tied them with his expertise, and see, there is power in certain words, right? One of the things that I develop, it's develop certain sentence that people will remember it for life, right? You know how he says, I'm a broker for life? I always tell them I'm an agent of an agents. That's what I tell people. I'm broker of brokers. They remember that, right? And I tell, with me, you're here. With me, let me find you. You see, I use certain things that they see the confidence, the power in me. I don't have to say things that it's risky, right? I use certain, come up with something like that and talk with confidence. So that's very valuable. Now, have you ever purchased or sold a property off the market? Who has? He has. He has. See, she has. So can you tell me, Manny, how do you do that?
Sell a property off market.
Yes.
And usually, originally when I got started into multifamily, I was cold calling. And it's interesting because I was doing a lot of calls a day. And I was looking for a specific criteria that I have, because I have the data on what I was calling, and I just wasn't cold calling anybody. I was specific. So I called a lot of people. I got some people very interested. But here's the unique thing. That was over a year ago when I really, really focused up on it. A lot of those people are now calling me because they want to sell.
That's exactly the case. That's exactly the case. So in residential, what you do today, it comes to you between 3 to 6 months. In commercial, it comes to you between 1 to 2 years. So if you don't work right now, next year at this time, you probably have nothing to do, right? That's the thing. So that's a very valuable thing, right? I started with my phone. So people who know you, trust you better, will listen to you better. Call them first, but don't just call and get off the phone. Commercial is not hit and miss. It's not number. If you make 2 calls and out of that 2 calls, one lands something, you're done basically, right? Point is, you make that call, you make a note and follow up on it. And follow up on it. So how do you follow up on it? That's another thing. He make a phone call and he gets the information out there, but prior to that, you still have your phone. Any of you had at least 300 people that they know you, right? You call them and said, market is really hot right now. Interest rate, it's about to go down. Prices are gonna go up. I tell you, if you have money sitting in a bank and your stock market has gone up, it's time to turn it to a real estate. So I would ask, for example, Melanie, let's role play something with each other, right? Sorry. So tell me, why should you buy real estate if your stock market is doing so well? Ask me. Let's say you're a client, I have called you, yes.
Sepi, I'm afraid of real estate. I just wanna, my money's in the stock market. I know it's there. I can see it every day. It's all, I can see what's happening. Why would I take money out of, and actually, I had this conversation with my recently. Why should I take it out of the stock market?
Okay, who has answer? I have a very good answer. I'm gonna sell it in a spot. Who has answer? Anyone? Okay, here's the answer. Your money in a stock market, it's going up, but it's just the money. And it's volatile. But let's say it's keep going up. It's like putting it in a saving plan that accumulate interest, right? There's no backing to it. That's all you got. But if you buy a real estate, the value of the real estate goes up, along with the fact that you can lease it and collect rent on it. Plus, you can use it against your income, and then you quickly give a disclaimer. I'm not a CPA. You should check this detail with your CPA. However, based on my personal experience, you switch it that way, right? Based on my personal experience, the asset can depreciate against your income. So not only bring your tax bracket down, check with your CPA, but also the value of the property is going up and is safe, not volatile, it's always there. And you get a rental out of it. You have 3 benefits. They're not even comparable with each other. Trust me, the moment I draw it like that, they're done, they're sold. But you have to understand and believe what you're telling everyone, right? Before you get to that point. Now, let's say we're talking about his cold call, right? If I'm calling, I have lots of gas station people that I have to buy them land, right? And those lands never in the market, right? So they actually tell me, and sometimes I'm passing by, buy that land for me, right? So I'm reaching to the guy and I'm telling him, I have a client who wants to this property. What does it take to own this property? I said, a lot. I said, can you put a number next to it? Can you tell me the terms? It's not for sale. I said, throw a number. What do you have to lose? If it was working, win-win. Well, I don't know. I'm not ready to pay the taxes. Well, I'll buy you something else on the spot. How about you give me a number? I'll find you another property that do that. I'm doing 2 transactions. Almost every single one of them. Because the guy who bought it and is sitting on it, especially in commercial, most of them are very savvy investor. They are savvy investor. They know the value of the property has gone up, right? And they don't want to pay their capital gain. So you have to know what is capital gain. You have to have another property ready for them that they make more money on it, right? You have to know all these details. So back to the basic. First, you need to know everything yourself about that particular asset. You practice with yourself. You make yourself to the level that you're ready to answer any of these questions, that objections. Because you, most of the time, with them, it's your first impression. You want to be stronger than them, stronger than them. There was a case like that we didn't make a deal. However, the guy called me and says, but can you sell the property I have across the street? I didn't get to buy that property, but I sold his property and now he's my client as well, right? That conversation will sell you. Again, it's not about how to get the lead. It's about how you sell yourself. In order to sell yourself, you have to have the knowledge. In order to have the knowledge, you have to jump in. In order to jump in, you have to actually learn about that specific asset. That's why I say pick one listing. Pick one listing, not the whole entire type of an asset. Learn about that specific asset and do your best to sell that. During that transaction, normally I partner with someone when I want to teach. I don't do class teaching. This is my first time. But I do during the transaction. During that transactions, which I'm offering you to do that through that filtering, I would teach them from A to Z that I've learned, and that would put you on the next level. You can do exact same thing on exact same type or something similar. You will mimic it and do the same thing. Now, another thing. Have you ever gone to the classes outside here for your legal one with other agents? No? I do. I go. Legal one, or I go to a lot of classes that is not here. Do you know why? Networking. And I want to get all those residential agents to send me their leads. Trust me, they are. I don't even remember who they are, right? First of all, I'll make a noise out there. Everybody hates me. You guys seen me. I'll make a noise. Sepi again. Sepi, you have a question again? I make it in the way that my name is always out, whether I'm a noisy person or somehow I make myself known to that group. Everybody remembers my name. And guess what? In the break, I always say, by the way, I do commercial and I give a really good referral. You want to know my name or you want to know my number? We know it. We know it. Put it in your phone. It's the money that you don't have to lose. Do you see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
We know obviously we've got, I've heard here, y'all looking for, and commercial will want that too, looking residential agents for referrals. However, I'm sure you've gotten quite a few, I've gotten some that just aren't anything. Do you have a process or does someone have a process that they want to teach where you vet that so that you're not running around and chasing every residential agent that knows somebody that wants to do commercial where where you spin your wheels and then it amounts to basically nothing. Like the person isn't ready. So do you have a process on that or do you have a conversation about that?
I'm a wrong person to answer that question because I'm not very I'm a person to person kind of a thing, right? And the way I vet people, and I get a lot of calls per day that I have a deal. I tell them, please bring them on the phone, conference call. I don't want to know their number or anything. Let's put them on the phone and let's talk together. On the phone, have you guys ever seen, I did a role play with Michael in one of the team meetings, right? That's how I vet people when it gets there. I ask them how much money they have in their bank account. My son always make it, Mom, don't ask people how much they have money in their bank account. But I do ask that because I want to know how realistic this is, right? And he tells me, the guy has $1,000, want to buy a restaurant. Right. Even for lease. Even for lease, right? Or go ahead. No, you go. You go ahead.
The way I'll help answer that, the way that I do it as well is very similar to that, but it's more into the interest because I've been getting a lot of calls. I give them homework. Either, look, first I ask them 5 questions. You have a business plan. 90% say no. Do you have financials? 90% say no. Do you have performance? No. Operating expenses? No. The most important one is.
Do you have money?
Money. The big, and I told them to tell. I do this simple concept and I know exactly how much it's looking like. I've done it a long time. How much I need for them to have in the bank. You have to be 50 in the bank. If they say yes, I got you. We'll work the rest out. If they have at least 275, we can figure that out. So you just kind of feel it out, but you have to make them do the work to make sure they're committed.
But here's the point where you're already to a potential client. You already have.
These are cold calls.
Okay. So
I guess call looking for a property, a restaurant or whatever, and I just walk them through it to see how committed they are. And you have to just reach that. They don't know what questions to ask. Listen, I've been self-employed since I was 23. Young entrepreneurs out there, we really have to collect them and say, hey, That's why I say I want to be the broker for my life, not your life, because you're gonna outlive me. So we have to kind of reach out.
Just to add to that, asking how much money you have in the bank, and I surveyed, I said, do you have proof of fund?
Yes,
You have proof of funds?
yes,
And then they said, yes, I have it. How much do you have? Can you share it? Because that will help getting the deal done. So that way you can kind of carry it forward to getting to your goal. That's
Right.
the first step.
right.
And the key to that is any place they're looking for, this is what the landlord or the lender is gonna request. So we're preparing them for anything, because I'm not gonna go show anybody anything until they
Post it on Facebook.
This is
like
a waste
guy
of
has.
time.
So very, very good. But let me jump in and say, okay, the process is to see how realistic they are, but I never miss those. What I'm saying is, it may not be ready right now, but I can switch their interest to something else. That's another key. So they may want something else. So I'm going to tell you something. I used to own a car lot. I used to sell a lot of cars, right? So people would come in, they wanted to buy a Mercedes, but I would sell them what I think I need for them to buy. Honestly, same thing in commercial. They may think they want this, but I have to teach them, no. Based on what I heard, this would fit you best. And trust me, they would listen to me, right? So the reason I ask how much money they have in a bank account, because that's their down payment. My next question is your house paid off? Because I'm going to get money out of that house out too. Then I'm going to ask how much money you have in the stock market, right? I want to know where the money is. How am I going to pull them out? Then I'm going to talk to my lender. Then we'll tie them out, right? So my process is find out how much money they have. And the other thing I want to find out if they ever built something, if it's their first investment, if they had another one, because some people are very wishful. And without disrespecting them, I can teach them and walk them through, right? But I have to ask certain questions to see where they are. Now, another question. You know, we have a Lincoln, right? Who doesn't? Yes, who doesn't have Lincoln? Who doesn't, right? Have you guys seen JAL, Koshman, CBRB? When they sell something, everybody make a comment underneath that. Why don't we do that for each other? Do you know why you should? Because your name gets under that sold listing. Do you know how many leads I get from Lincoln? Do you know how many people outside Houston have reached out to me, gave me clients that they are better than me? Honestly, a lot of them are better than me. But I impress them and I take their client in Houston and I sold and I make money and I give them chalk up. How many of you have told the residential agent outside here? It's so much easier outside here. Do you know why? Because you have no competition. That if you give me your leads, I give you 30% referral. I give you what makes you happy. Don't even commit to something. You can negotiate when the leads come. Open-ended, right? On Lincoln, when one of us have listing, we all need to say, nice listing, good job. Everybody start making comments. You're not helping her. You're helping yourself. You're putting your name out there. Trust me on that. That's the algorithm. How many of you, when somebody's sold, you come back and say, well done, right? Put your name out there. It's an opportunity to market yourself. Trust me on that. It's the algorithm and other people, they're looking at my sold listing. They're also going to see your name. They're also going to see your name. They're also going to see your name, right? Put your name out there, right? Okay, so let's go back to things. I keep repeat these things. If you do one of the things that I told you to the perfection, you get so busy that you don't have time to come to class. But please come back to class. Don't drop the class. I'm just saying, get an asset. I give you an example. 14236 Gainesville is a warehouse. I'm desperate to sell it, okay? It's a great asset. It's gonna be our field trip that I'm planning to take you there, teach you everything about that. And then you guys go study it right now, please. 14236 Gainesville. It's in LoopNet and everywhere else. Yes, sir.
The other thing on that is whenever before I go look at any property for somebody calls and says, I wanna look at it. I also look up everything that's for sale or has sold for the last year. And because for sale, you know, somebody calls, if you do get the listing. Somebody calls and says, well, that's not gonna work for me. Well, we got more other over here that we can show you. Here, let's sell something out there.
Exactly.
Every call should be money.
Every call should be money. Adding to your list. So today, this is what I want you guys to do. Learn about that listing, homework, and then create a spreadsheet that whoever you call, it has to go in some column, right? It has to go under, has this much money, wants to buy this year, realistic, and medical building, for example, right? And then on your calendar, you have to be a notification to call him at least next week with something valuable. Calendar, ring, a call, right? Your CRM has to be you. It shouldn't be 300 people. It should be 20 people, but you make all the money out of it. Have you seen the people who are in one business for many years? They are very successful because they learn every in and out of that business. And they have a name out there. And they just focus on that very, very in detail. So I want you to do that. I want you perfect that one single asset, right? And I want you to market it, not right now, because I have to give you information. Remember the step. You pick an asset, right? You learn all about it. You'll drive it. You learn all about it. Then you start selling it to yourself. Okay, selling it to yourself. Question. How many of you this year bought yourself an investment property? Show of hands. Do you know what does to you when you buy for yourself? You will learn the risk that other people are taking, so you can answer their question. And also, you will learn what objection you will have. And also, you will learn that a passive income coming your way, so you're more power, you're not desperate, you won't sound desperate, right? It's more like more income, better, didn't come, right? Right? And it gets you even more powerful. So why don't you buy for yourself? Do you not tell people with 20% they can buy something? Like, which one of you doesn't have $10,000 in their bank account? Next commission should be your next investment. You spend on your purse, car, this and that, right? You make money for what? To spend it all? You make money to create a best passive income. If you want to teach people to do that, you have to do it yourself first. Even if you buy a small little bitty property. Have you ever asked anyone, does anybody, like right now, I have a duplex off market that I can sell at 10 cap, completely brand new, $300,000. How much down payment you want? Who can answer me? No. No. Residential, you can do with 5%. That's the rules. Come on. You don't know the basic of this. This is why you cannot sell. You have to know. See, I'm asking you a question, right? How much down payment do you want? 5%, because it falls under all the government loan that you can buy. One for yourself, one the other. Duplex, you can buy until 4. So why aren't you? Why aren't you? Can you not get equity out of your, if you don't know how to do it, learn. It's okay. The benefit is so much for you. If you don't practice on yourself, how are you going to sell it for others? Because once you do that, because it's your own money, you will learn so much about it. I make a lot more rent than I make here in commission. And my income is displayed. So you can go look how much I make. Plus, my property bring my tax bracket down. Plus, the value of my properties keep going up. Right? How many of you knew about what they were talking about? This is not a political question. I'm asking you because you need to know what's happening in your market. So, Vice President was talking about unrealized tax. Who knows what that is? Okay, why don't you tell me what that is, sir?
Well, it's a tax on money you haven't, it's tax on gains you haven't realized yet. So it's,
Example?
right, I own properties too.
Example?
Significant amount of appreciation.
Okay.
Duplex I bought for 150, now it's worth 4.
Why the rest of you doesn't know about that?
Investments in the market, that's the main thing, the stock market.
So it's just, we want to talk about real estate. We want to stay on the real estate, right? Please. Why the rest of you doesn't know about that? Such an important thing that was about to happen. I mean, you are in a business of a real estate. I want to know in your spare time, do you watch fashion show or you watch what's happening in the market about your property? If you don't know that, who's supposed to know? So assignment number 3, from today, you spend 5 minutes reading hot news in Inman. Inman, easier. You all have HAR, it's free to you. Email will be, so you go to HAR, you log in, there is Inman, it's a news about real estate, nationwide, okay? You log into that, you subscribe because it's free to you. And when that email comes, read the highlights. So I give you 3 assignments. Time is up. I want to ask you, what did you learn?
I need to be better with my CRM.
Okay. So, ma'am, what did you learn? Yes. Very good. Thank you. And Gina, what did you learn?
She said, be out there more
Okay.
and don't lose a lead just because, don't disclose the prices especially and don't.
Not all the time, though. I mean,
But yeah.
don't hold me on that, right? Sometimes they have to, you have to have permission to do all these things, right? Does anybody have a quick, yes, please.
Those relationships, I mean, I said it summit, relationship that we're not transacting, not all transacting, it's about a lifelong relationship. You don't need a database of 4,000 people, you need 20 that keep consistently giving you business. So I think we were gentlest and like, take all this. But I think if you really focus on, you're looking for, you're going for a property type and then build relationships. I think we all in this room could help each other and kind of try to work on that. So if you haven't gone and logged in WhatsApp, in that Google Drive, you put all your information on there, what you're specialized, that there, one of the things I sat through, Anything Goes, Cynthia Lee said yesterday, she hates listings. Like she's a tenant rep, she works with franchises. She's gonna start looking for listings and refer them.
Excellent. Excellent.
She doesn't want to do that listing, but she's got 3,000 people across the country that would love it. So it's relationships with your clients, it's relationships here, it's relationships with residential agents wherever you go. It's a relationship business. And if you start thinking about it as a transaction, you're never gonna be successful.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna give you one last thing. This will help.
Okay.
No more homework. So if you get someone and you felt like there is shortage in you that you cannot get that ball rolling, team up. You quickly say, so the guy wants, I have a shopping center, but you felt like he's not going to give it to you, right? You felt right there, right? You say, all right, I am going to bring our team because for example, in shopping center, we work in a group of 2 because it's a lot of work and we're specialized. So how's tomorrow 5 o'clock works for you? So my team, me and I'm just throwing my name as an Sepi could come and visit with you on that, right? So bring a team. Don't say my supervisor, my instructor. Don't put yourself down. Say team. We work as a team. When it's a big deal, we bring couple people to work together because it's a lot of work. You get 2 for 1, something like that, right? And then quickly team up with someone. Yes, sir.
I'm doing that right now. I brought this to the restaurant in on this deal.
Excellent.
Listing we're trying to get because I have no knowledge of it.
Excellent.
But he's the subject matter expert. So I think we're gonna do it.
Excellent, excellent. But you know, again, if you felt like you need an additional push, bring someone into it, right? Bring someone into it, let them land it for you. And then here's another thing, right? You can always switch to some, not in the middle of the deal, but let's say for the second argument, you come and work with me, right? We'll partner on a deal. And if you don't like my style, then next time you go work with Robert. Next time you go work with Philip. Next time you work with Ada. Just I'm throwing an example here, right? See who you like. Simple as that. You're not married to anyone anymore. You have an option and you can negotiate it, right? Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Hope you get something out of it. Thank you.